What's up, guys? Chooch. About to take this $3,800, yeah, you heard that right, $3,800 electric unicycle for an 80-mile ride going all the way from Loveland, Colorado, up an extreme elevation climb. We're going to be climbing up about 2,500 feet of elevation over about 30 miles from where I'm at right here, going all the way into Estes Park. This right here, we're down kind of what they call the Front Range. Now, the Front Range of Colorado is exactly what it sounds like. It's that front mountain range of the Rockies, and there's a lot of towns and cities along the Front Range, starting with Fort Collins, kind of going down to Longmont, then Boulder, and then you got Denver, and then Colorado Springs. But that's all along what they call the Front Range. And now I'm kind of in the foothills of the Front Range, and I'm going to be going up into Estes Park up here. And Estes Park, if you've probably heard of it before. Estes Park is where you go to get into Rocky Mountain National Park, and it is absolutely beautiful up here, guys. It really is a gem, and it's really, really popular in the summertime. It doesn't look like it where we're at right here. It doesn't look like there'd be a lot of tourist traffic or anything, but you'll see when we start getting on this main road to head up to the mountain and inside the canyon. We're going to be taking what's called Big Thompson Canyon all the way there. And this canyon is steep on each side. The walls of the canyon are just absolutely beautiful once you get inside of it. And then you have the Big Thompson River adjacent to you on your right-hand side when you're going up the whole time. Actually, it's kind of switches because you go over some bridges and stuff. But once we get up to this town, so right where I'm at right now, I'm probably at about 5,000, I'd say about 5,300 feet. And the final destination where I'm going is going to be 7,550 feet. So from right here, this is about the lowest point of the ride. See that sign that says no access to Estes Park. So if you go that way where I just was, it's just a bunch of private roads and stuff. But you have to come down here and kind of go into Loveland and then take a left to get up onto to get into Big Thompson Canyon. So the wheel I'm on right now, guys, has 3,200 watt hours of battery. Like I said, this is the original Sherman right here. If you want to get one of these, guys, I really suggest getting like the predecessor to this one, which is way better and just more refined. It's the same exact styling, has the same look to it, which I love, guys. This OG Sherman, this is one of the best looking electric unicycles out there, and it's one of the best electric unicycles out there. Seriously. Y'all see the hell I give these wheels, and y'all see how many I end up tearing up and whatnot. I've been riding this one for 3 years with 0 problems. In fact, I've never opened this wheel up, guys. I've never had to open it up to look at a motherboard. I've never had to open it up for anything. I just thought about that. I've never, ever turned a screw in this thing to open a side panel or anything in 3 years. I've rode this thing. I rode this thing in California. I rode this thing in Utah. I rode it in Nevada. I rode it down. I rode this specific wheel right here in Santa Monica. I rode it on the Las Vegas Strip. I rode it absolutely everywhere, and it still rides fine, guys. The one thing about this wheel is it is big and it is heavy, but it has a ton of range in it, guys. And I say this a lot, man. Like 1,800 watt hours. Like for instance, like that 1,700 to 1,800 watt hours, like you see a lot of those mid-range wheels, like the V12 and like the T4 and stuff like that. Like those wheels have a place. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is better than those wheels. I'm just saying that this has a place, and it's way different than those wheels. So you'll notice with this one, I never take this wheel like just extreme trail riding anymore or anything like that, just because I have other wheels that do it so much better. Like the T4 can ride trails better, the V12 high torque can ride trails better than this thing, the RS19, dude, any wheel will ride trails better than this. But this is one of those wheels that feels like it's built for the main road right here. And this is one of the only wheels that I will get on the main road like this with, because I can get it comfortably up to about 52 miles an hour on a full charge, guys. Like if I have a full charge on this thing, like right now, which I do, from that first 100% down to 90%, I can easily hit like 52 miles an hour on this thing. And then as the battery drops, then your speed kind of drops a little bit too. But with the veteran Sherman and the Sherman Max, is you don't get speed throttled a lot at all, guys. You can still ride 40 plus miles an hour even whenever you're like 60% battery or like 50% battery. You can still ride fast. And that's one thing I love about this wheel is you can commute on it. You really feel like you got a piece of equipment under your feet. And it rides great. It rides stable, guys. The only thing that this wheel kind of fails at, guys, is like for whenever you saw a lot of these veteran Shermans trying to race at Apple Valley. Your top speed on this is literally like 54 miles an hour. If you have it fully charged up and you're just doing one race lap, you can literally push it up to about 54. If you're really on it and you are like riding it to the beeps, you can really push it, guys. So in a race situation, if you can comfortably corner on this thing and then you can just open it up on your straightaways, I'm talking literally give it all it's got and just send it on the straightaways, you can make up for that poor acceleration out of the corners. But you have to hold it, man. You have to get up to top speed and you have to hold it there, man, and like really, really push it. But the downfall is, guys, this thing just does not corner good like in a racetrack setting. You'll be coming into a corner and your pedals are just so low on this thing, you see that you're going to be scraping as soon as you're diving into a corner, guys. So it's just not made for racing, essentially, like that. But for everyday riding and like stuff like this, you never notice that. Like this is the only wheel I would want for a situation like this. Maybe like the Sherman S that's coming out would be even better because any anomaly or anything like that in the road, that's the one thing you have to be really aware of, guys. It's just divots and potholes and anomalies and stuff like that when you are riding a wheel that doesn't have suspension. On the road, when you have that suspension, it does give you a little bit more peace of mind, guys. I mean, it really, really does. And that's why, like the Sherman S we're seeing that's going to be dropping, I think there's a place for that, even for street riders. I really do, guys. If you get it dialed in this specific ride right here coming up, there's like a massive section of the road just taken out, like due to erosion over on the right-hand side. And for instance, if I would have gone straight into that at like 40 miles an hour with no suspension, guys, it would have just bucked me up in the air and I would have crashed. But having suspension, like with the Sherman S coming out, it will really, really give you more leeway in situations like that. Where if you accidentally mess up as the rider and you say I ran off the shoulder of the road and hit a big old bump or something, you would want suspension for that. You really would want suspension for that, just because it helps. It seriously helps. You get this 100-pound wheel right here, you hit a rock or pothole or something you're not expecting, it's going to jump you all around, and you just got to be aware when you're riding this thing. It's the best way I can put it. This wheel right here, guys, they sell out, instantly as soon as they come in. Every time that there's a Sherman Max, and I'm talking about the Sherman Max, guys, because the wheel I'm riding right here, they don't even make it anymore, which is a good thing, because there's a lot of things in this thing that they upgraded. So, like, one thing being is the rim. The rim on this wheel right here, guys, the first original Sherman, people were having problems with them actually cracking because they were taking them and doing hard trail riding and stuff like that and really, really pushing it. And I think a lot of these guys were just, heavier dudes that saw a lot of people on the RS19 and such like that, and they just wanted to, join the fun. But this wheel is just not made to do that. It's simply is not made to do that. But the good thing about that is Veteran went and upgraded all the rims on the Sherman Max. So the Sherman Max is just an overhauled, better version of the OG Sherman I'm riding right here. But it also has a more powerful motor, and it has 400 more watt hours of battery, guys. And they didn't change. So from the price of the Sherman went up over like 2 years for sure. But they didn't change the price from whenever they did like the Sherman to the Sherman Max much at all. and you're just getting a way better wheel, guys. Like, I seriously think that if you don't have a Sherman in your fleet, if you don't have a Sherman Max in your fleet, and you aren't thinking about getting like the Sherman S, I still think this is an incredible wheel. I think like the Sherman S and Sherman Max are just, if you're into this hobby and you're really into it, you got to have one of the two. And if you don't have a Sherman Max, I would really be looking at buying that Sherman S. And like, I'm being dead serious. Like, if I was an avid EUC rider and I was looking for the next wheel, and I didn't have like a Sherman Max, I didn't have the OG Sherman, I would definitely put my pre-order in for that Sherman S. And I want that Sherman S so freaking bad, because I know it's going to be quality, guys. And that's what I want. I just want something that I can get out of the box, I can haul ass on, I can have fun, and I can just ride it. I literally, that's all I want. I just want to get a package in the mail. Like, dude, if that Sherman S came in and I could literally pull it out of the box and just pull, one little wrapper off of the thing and then just press the power button and it ran flawlessly, that's what we want. That's what we all want. We don't want any updates. We don't want any bullshit like that. We just want to get it out of the box and be able to ride it for 3 years, 4 years, throw down miles on it, and just keep ripping it. And, dude, if Leopard Kim can do that with the Sherman S, with the Sherman S like they've done with wheels in the past, dude, a lot of the people that have that was a pothole I was talking about right there, dude. That was close. If you saw how close that tire was to falling in that damn thing, you would be like, oh, Lord, bro. Like, dude, I would have eaten shit. If I would have hit that, bro, I would have been absolutely done for back there. But luckily I didn't fall into that damn hole. But that's where suspension would come into handy. Say if you were looking over your shoulder at cars behind you and you ran full speed into that damn hole right there, the suspension you would want it, because it would really dampen that initial sharp impact that would tilt you forward, if that makes sense. So on these EUCs, like, if you hit something you're not expecting, the worst part is it just tilts you forward, kind of off balance. And once all your weight's like hanging over the front of the thing, if the thing can't keep up with you and you kind of lose your balance even more, that's when you go down. So that suspension kind of dampens that initial impact that would either like jar you forward or jar you backwards, and it really helps you stay on the wheel in a lot of situations, especially for newer riders. I'm telling you guys, for a newer rider out there, suspension is the ticket. One thing I will say though is, if you can ride an EUC that doesn't have suspension and you can get really used to it, it'll just make you better on a wheel that has suspension. I mean, it really will, because you've gotten used to bending your knees and like, getting low for corners and doing all these things that you have to do. Just going over bridges. You see I'm bending my knees just a little bit there just to go off the bridge, bending them a little bit to go up on the bridge. There's a lot of little things, a lot of little nuances you learn when you don't have suspension. Say if I had suspension to start off with right there, I wouldn't learn those little things, those little movements of just bending your knees when you're going off the bridge, kind of preloading before you go on the bridge. That right there, kind of jumping a little sand on the side of the road. That right there is something you won't learn if you get a wheel with suspension, because you'll just be relying on the suspension, guys. And then the day you get on a wheel that doesn't have it, you're going to be like, what in the hell is going on? How do you do this? And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things that's, it's weird, because we didn't have, like, when I started riding these things, dude, no one was even considering the fact that there would be a suspension electric unicycle. I mean, dude, I started riding in late 2014. Like, December of 2014 is when I got my first electric unicycle ever, Airwheel X3. It was like it was like 6 months later, I had the 9x1 E+. Then after that, I had the ACM. I had the Gateway ACM, original ACM. And then after that, I ended up, I got the original ACM impounded by the Denver police. And so I had to buy the King Song 16S. And then after the 16S, I bought the M Super V3S. And after the M Super V3S, what did I buy after that? I think I got like the M Super Pro. But, dude, we were never considering, even up to like the M Super Pro, we were never even thinking that a suspension was possible in an electric unicycle. And then all of a sudden, like the S18 dropped. and everybody was just blown away by that thing. We were just like, just honestly, the look of the S18. Like, I'm trying to think back to that whenever that came out, dude. People were just stoked with the way that thing looked. It looked so cool, having that full suspension in the back and, like, you know, that white real modern design to it and all, the futuristic look to it, the futuristic headlights and all. I mean, dude, that S18 was really, really a game changer to the electric unicycle world. It seriously was, and it really got everybody thinking. And I think after people rode it and realized that suspension does work on an electric unicycle and that it is nice and that shit, if you can get used to this, you could be just a god tier rider, you know? If you can just work with the suspension, you know, and they can make it better, put it in a faster wheel, it's just going to be incredible. And that's what we've seen. Second wheel that had suspension was the V11. I love the V11 too. The S18, I overpowered that thing, guys. So the reason I didn't have the S18 for very long, dude, I had one of the worst crashes of my entire life, dude, on the S18. I really got hurt bad, man. And it was simply like, I was at an intersection, dude, and it was a big intersection. So I was literally like in one of the lanes of traffic, like waiting on the light to turn. And you know this, dude. I know everybody has been in this same situation if you ride. If you're in front of the cars, you want to take off quickly, you know, and a lot of cars don't expect these to go fast. But you being a courteous person, you want to take off fast and get out of the way of those cars. You know, you want to speed up quick. You got a great acceleration on this. Your acceleration's better than the cars, so you can get up to speed and get out of the way. And my intent was to go fast, whatever that light turned green, and get over to the side and get in the bike lane to let the cars that were behind me, that would eventually catch up in speed because, you know, I got more acceleration, but they have more top end. So as soon as we cleared the intersection, I would be in the bike lane, and then they could pass me. But with the S18, guys, I literally mounted both feet on that thing, and I just took off. I leaned into it like I was on my M Super Pro, because like that was what I was riding around the same time whenever I got that S18. And they sent the S18 out as like a demo, and dude, I went to take off on that S18, and as soon as I got from to basically the other side of the intersection, it just gave out. It literally just completely, I overpowered it, and it was a catastrophic crash, guys. Thank God I had my knee pads on, but it ripped my knee pads down. It pulled them down, even though I have them tight, dude. I ride with them tight as they can be. It yanked those knee pads all the way down. My knees were just completely destroyed. Like, I mean, the top halves of my knees were just road rash to hell. The S18, I couldn't even find it. I hit the ground so damn hard, and I was going max speed on the S18, dudes, and I probably pushed it farther than it should. And I literally, dude, I got up from my crash and I looked around and it was nowhere to be found. Because I mean, I was focused on where I was falling and where I was sliding, and I couldn't find the wheel. I literally got up from the crash and I'm looking around like, where the hell is the unicycle at? And it's nowhere to, it literally, I looked for a minute and there's no wheel around anywhere. And the thing had literally bounced down the damn road and gone behind a car dealership, and it was in the ditch behind the car dealership. It must have traveled 60 yards after I crashed, just flying and tumbling and dancing or whatever the hell it did. They go back there behind the bushes. But that's what happened with that S18, and that's why the demo S18 I had a while back was just destroyed. I destroyed that thing, and I just overpowered it. And I think the S18 is a great wheel, but you just have to understand what the thing's for, dude. And it's hard to say. Actually, it's hard to say it's a great wheel. Like I'd say it's a great wheel for like people that are smaller, like smaller frame, like kids, dude. Like that, the S18 is a suspension wheel for kids, essentially. Is the way I would put it. And they didn't make it like that. They didn't intend for it to be that way at all. But that's what it is. I really think the S18 is for either like new riders that aren't going to be hitting top speed, or either just basically kids, guys, because they just didn't make it powerful enough. Now the S22, I think is, dude, I really did like that wheel a lot. Like I gotta say, dude, there's rarely a wheel I can get and ride it as hard as I did that S22 without a problem. And that, I don't know if that demo I had was just really good or what it was, dudes, but I seriously rode that thing hard, and I didn't ever have any issues with it. And I wish I could have had it longer. And if I would have been able to keep it for more than like a month, I probably would have found out. It just depends. Having those things for like a month, it just doesn't do justice, guys. That's why I like having them for like a long time, so I can let y'all know over a long period of time if it's a good wheel or not. And like with the V12, dudes, that's why and I'm so glad that I said good things about the V12, and I'm so glad that I actually rode that thing, and was able to. I've had the V12 now as a personal wheel, two of them, for a long time, and both of them work great. And I've made a lot of videos on those things, guys, and I know they aren't the fastest wheels, but dude, I'm telling you what, for the typical person out there that wants to just buy a unicycle to get into the hobby, something that's affordable, something that's gonna work, and something that's not gonna give them a damn headache, dude, the V12 is it, bro. I'm telling you. I wasn't just saying that. I didn't make 50 videos on the thing just for no reason. It simply is because the unicycle, that V12 high torque, I'm telling you, is one of the most problem-free unicycles I've ever had as well. That V12 high torque has been incredible. S22, I know some people are having like motor slippage issues and stuff with that thing, but the one I had, guys, I did log crossings just like I did on the T4. I did hard jumps, and I did a lot of things that would cause that motor slippage to engage. But I think that I really think the prototype S22s were different, dude, than the ones they released or something. Because I seriously, man, I hate the fact that people are having problems with that S22. Because, dude, I loved the damn thing, and it was so good. Like, it was so good when I had it, that it hurts me, man, to see that people are having problems with that thing. Because I just want a good suspension wheel, man. A good suspension wheel that is sturdy, that holds up for years and years with, a big rider on it just abusing it, dude. And I think that's what the Sherman S is going to do. I think the Sherman S is going to be one of the first wheels we've ever seen that can hold up to a 200, plus pound rider actually off-roading the thing for extended periods of time. And, dude, if they can get this right, that thing is going to be worth more than $4,000. I mean, if they can nail this, and it can go for months and months and months with zero problems, and the Sherman S, dude, I have high hopes. I really do. I really, really do. I think this is going to be the best wheel we've seen in years, just because they have so much data. They saw what worked. They saw what didn't work. Leopard looked at the forums, and they aren't trying to push out a bunch of garbage, man. They aren't trying to make like 10 wheels right now. They're focusing on the Sherman S and only on the Sherman S. And right now, Leopard only has 2 wheels out. So you got the Sherman Max, which I'm on right now, and I think they're going to keep selling these, guys. The Sherman Max is going to be sought after for years, just because it works so well and is problem-free. And at 3,600 watt hours, guys, that's 400 more watt hours than what the wheel I'm on right now has. And going all the way up here into the mountains, guys, and then whenever I got up here, I stopped at a pizza place, and I got an insanely good calzone, dude. It was so freaking good. I think it's called like Village Pizza or something in Estes Park. You'll see the place up here, but if you're in Estes Park, go here. It didn't look like it would be much. It kind of looked like a hole-in-the-wall place, but dude, I got a chicken calzone. I don't know why I ordered that. I was just wanting some chicken or something, but I got a chicken calzone. Doesn't sound like it would be good, but dude, it was gas. It was so good. Anyways, I charged up here. I had the 3 amp charger, and that's where I ate lunch and charged at. And I put it this way, guys. I really wish I would have like 400 more watt hours in this wheel. And the new ones have that, guys. So the original Sherman I'm on has 3,200 watt hours, and they put 400 extra watt hours in the Sherman Max. And dude, it makes a difference. Like if I would have had that 400 extra watt hours, I would have been able to make it back home. Like, cause I got all the way up here, dude. I didn't get back home from this ride until late at night, because on the way back I had to stop and charge. I ran completely dead, dude, on the way home, and I was like 3 miles from my house, and I had to stop at just the dude. Thank God, I literally would have been stranded, but thank God the ranger station, the ranger station, they had a power outlet outside, and I kind of felt bad having to go and use it, but shit, dude, like the rangers are out there to help us and protect us and all, and I literally would have been screwed sitting there in the middle of the night. So they kind of passively helped me by just having a power outlet available I could use for a minute. So I plugged in and screwed around out in the grass and played around for a minute and let that 3 amp charger work for about 2 hours, and then I got back on the road and headed up here. So we're getting into Estes Park right now. Check it out. And I put a few cuts in there, guys, but I really was cranking. Like, I was going about 40 miles an hour up this canyon the whole time. You see, look at this sign. It says 7,000. I was going by it so fast. I'm such an idiot with the camera. But it says 7,550 feet, and welcome to Estes Park back there, is what it says. And if you look on the map, from Loveland, where we just started, Loveland, Colorado, just coming up to Estes Park, up Big Thompson Canyon, that's a hell of a ride. I mean, it really is, dude. And you got to think, dude, going 40 miles an hour like that, you're draining a ton of power going up steady elevation climbing like that. And this shows, dude, I had no overheating problems, no issues whatsoever, and the Sherman just keeps working, dude. So, put it this way. I'm going to say this. If you've been into the hobby for a long time, if you don't have one of these, if you don't have a Sherman, you don't have an OG Sherman, you don't have a Sherman Max, I would definitely be looking to buy the Sherman S. Seriously. Just because it gives you a whole nother like feeling of, hey, I can get on this wheel and go to the next town. I can get on this wheel and actually commute. I can get on this wheel and it can replace a car for long, long rides. Anyways, dudes, to put it simple, with this wheel and like the Veteran Max and the Sherman S, I just think that these two wheels hold a specific place, and I'm glad Leopard Chem's just focusing on long range, quality, great power, good components, and I really think that the Sherman S, if they can get this right, it'll be a top seller, even though it's an expensive wheel. Once the word gets out, once people start trying, and once people try like a Buddies or whatever, and they see what it is, I think that it's going to be a great wheel. I really want to get one to test, guys, so I can tell you, I can compare them great, because I've rode this Sherman for a while, and I've rode a lot of suspension wheels, so I'll be able to tell you exactly what's up with it, where it's good, where it's not so good, and I really do have high hopes for the Sherman S. I do know, like, the price, though, on the Sherman Max, though, you got to think about this, guys. The price of the Sherman Max is $3,799. So that is substantially less than the Sherman S. And you're getting about the same power. You're getting about the same speed. So if you know you don't need suspension, guys, if you're just going to be riding on roads, you're just going to be in the city, and you can bend your knees and kind of work with a machine, I still think that Sherman Max is a outstanding wheel. I think they're going to keep that one right in the roster. They're going to have the Sherman Max, and they're probably going to keep producing them for, up to another year or 2 years for sure, just because it's a great wheel. And if this OG Sherman was built so well and done so right, and I've had so little problems with it, and then they only upgraded it and only made it better, then, the Sherman Max is great. But I just want to put that out there. You don't have to go in and buy that Sherman S. The Sherman Max is still a great wheel, but I think the Sherman S is just going to shine more so than any other suspension wheel we've ever seen. And you got to admit, man, most of the suspension wheels we've seen up to this point just haven't looked supreme quality. If you want to, that's the best way I'll say it. They haven't all been supreme quality. I think this is the first suspension wheel we'll ever see that is supreme quality. And, that's that. So, anyways, dudes, if you want to get a Sherman Max, the current stock is sold out for them on eWheels, but you can place your pre-order, $1,000 pre-order for the Sherman Max, and you can get your Sherman Max whenever the next shipment arrives, or either place your pre-order for the Sherman S or any other wheel out there, guys. If you use the link below for eWheels, it literally helps me out no matter what wheel you get. So, whenever I'm making these videos, I'm not trying to sell you on any specific wheel. I'm just telling you what's out there and what's available. Anyways, if you use the links, it helps me out tremendously, and I appreciate it, and I'll see you dudes in the next one.